皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi everyone, my name is Ali. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing a very exciting video because I'm gonna be purchasing, testing and reviewing for you guys items I purchased on the AliExpress shop related to Mandarin Chinese language learning and stationery items. So without further ado, let's get started. So for today's video, guys, I'm gonna be interested in 4 different categories. The first one will be Mandarin Chinese reading materials because I've pretty much run out of reading materials that I'm interested in and that I am excited to go through. So I just want to purchase new ones and hopefully ones that will have not only simplified characters because this is the set of characters I'm learning Mandarin Chinese in, but also with pinyin on the Hanzi and of course with the tones on the pinyin on the Hanzi. Then the second category will be Hanzi calligraphy practice sheets because there's a lot of that on the AliExpress shop. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to find some interesting and cute looking practice sheets. The third category will be HSK study materials, and for that I honestly don't have anything specific in mind, just anything that will help me study Mandarin Chinese following the HSK exam structure will be good. So I'll see what I find. I have no idea what's on there. And then the fourth category will be just stationery items and hopefully some cute notebooks and cute sticker sheets because you guys know I love a good set of stickers. So if I'm able to find cute ones, then I'll definitely have to purchase them. A quick disclaimer about AliExpress itself because I know that this shop is to be used with a lot of caution. There is a lot of drop shipping going on AliExpress. I cannot say anything about the sustainability or the ethics of any of the sellers of any of the shops on this website. And I also want you guys, if you use the site in the future, to be careful about what you purchase and to just check out the shops from which you purchase. Now that I've told you everything that I wanted to tell you before we dive into the video, let's get straight into it because I think it's gonna take me ages to find the items that I'm most interested in. So let's go. Alright, so let's dive straight into it, guys. The first category I'm gonna shop for maybe books. You see, for example, this Chinese China 4 Classics Masterpiece books, easy version with pinyin picture for beginners. What a long title. Journey to the West, 3 Kingdoms. That kind of thing I'm quite interested in. So 3 Kingdoms is actually a story that is over on Do Chinese, the Do Chinese app. So I think it might be a good idea for me to start reading a physical version of this story because I like the physical aspect of, you know, having a book in my hand written in Chinese. I think probably I'm gonna go with this one because it's quite cheap. I'm gonna see what else is available, but honestly, this one already looks really good. And of course, it doesn't seem to be too difficult because again, I've seen it on the Do Chinese app and it's actually ranked in the intermediate level stories. So it's probably good for me to read this kind of thing. So let me just see whether it has the pinyin plus the tones on the pinyin, and yes, as you can see, it does. So I'm good with that. What I've done just now is I've favorited this item by clicking on the heart here. It's already, I think, in my wish list. So I will be able to access this again later. So let's just see if there is anything else that seems interesting. But yeah, this first one looks already very good. What about this one? There's only one sold, so it doesn't seem to be very popular. But let's just see what's in there. Also looks like a bunch of stories, but maybe not the kind that I'm interested in. What about these ones? Chinese traditional festival story. Picture books. Let me see what it looks like. Alright, so we've got... actually, I really like the illustrations there. We can't really see inside the books here. Can we? Oh, we can. Okay. Are there the pinions? Yes. And also the tones. Yeah, the tones are there. So this might also be an option. And in this set, how many are there? Did they say? Oh, 10. I don't think I know any of the stories. Those are about the festivals. So I'm also going to favorite this one because it looks interesting. And also I know nothing about the traditional festivals in China, so that might be something I'm interested in, just to discover things about traditional celebrations. I'm going quickly there because I see what those are about, and I'm not really interested in like translated stories. Like, for example, you can see here, this is definitely Snow White, and I'm not interested in translated stuff. I would rather have like original Chinese stories and maybe simplified for children, but yeah, not translated stories. I'm not really interested. I think I'm gonna go for that first one because, to be honest with you, it ticks all the boxes for me. And then the other books I see there are novels, and what about this? 24 books set, Chinese primary textbooks for student primary school mathematics books, Chinese teaching materials grade 1 to 6. Interesting. I will definitely not be doing mathematics, let me tell you. I already can't do mathematics in my own language, so I will definitely not do mathematics in Chinese. So I'm not really interested in the whole set, but if those are sold separately, maybe I may be interested in them actually. What about this? So we're going to the second category there, because it's not only reading materials, it's almost like study materials there for natives. Okay, so this is 9th year, 8th year, 7th year. Okay, well, 7th grade actually, not year. And based on the title, which I can guess this is like Kokugo, so it's Chinese language basically. This looks interesting. Can I see inside? Do they have pictures? Yes, they do. Oh, okay, they have the whole table of contents there. Yeah, I mean, those are all topics. Oh, so this is proper literature. Interesting. So this is the reading section. Can they show me something else? Like, do they have questions about the reading section? That kind of thing? This looks so good. Yeah, to be honest with you, that's definitely the kind of thing I'm interested in. I'd rather use materials that are used by natives. Let me favorite it. Also because it's progressive. You know, it has a progression in the level. Oh, I've already favorited it. Okay, perfect. Because it's from grade 1 to 6, right? This one too? No, from grade 7 to 9. Okay, maybe I can find something that is from grade 1 to 6 first, because this looks really difficult, of course. It's like proper literature. This one is year 4. What about this? Yeah, grades 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one is much better. So I'm also going to favorite this. All right, that looks good. Yeah, I would be happy to use these books actually to study. So looks perfect, guys. So we've got reading materials already, and we've got study materials for natives. Now let's see if we can find calligraphy practice sheets exactly like this for grades 1 to 8. Okay, can I see inside? I'm not sure this girl looks happy to be doing Chinese calligraphy, but okay. Oh, interesting. I see. Okay, well, looks good. It looks like, of course, the calligraphy practice sheets that you can find here in Japan for Japanese kids. It's kind of the same thing. It's really just to like have something to get used to the characters as they are written in Mandarin Chinese, you know, in simplified version. And I quite like using this kind of thing once in a while. Yeah, looks good. I can definitely have this in my favorite items, and we'll see whether I find something better. Let's see the recommended items from there. Like, I want to find practice sheets that contain basically all of the main characters that are used in the language, because I've seen sets that have like 7,000 characters, which would be the most used ones, and that would be really interesting to just have like all of the characters in one set. So those don't have the characters printed. What about this? Copybook adult practice calligraphy. I see. So they've got the characters underneath, and then you copy the characters on top. Yeah, this looks good actually. This looks good, but maybe not what I'm looking for. What about this? Yeah, those are... I think I've seen those in the past. What do they mean? Magic practice copybook, hard pen calligraphy, double side printed. They're like embossed almost inside the page so that you write the characters correctly. I think that's what they mean. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, okay, they've got zoomed in pictures there. Yeah, this looks good actually. From grade 1 to 6. Okay. So this one is in my wish list. Now let's see the recommended items, because I think I've seen what I'm looking for. Yeah, this one, you see, 7,000 characters. Common Chinese characters, copybook, Chinese pen, calligraphy. Yeah, that's the thing I'm looking for. But those characters are a bit more stylized, like cursive writing characters almost. But I'm gonna favorite this. Also, it's very cheap. It's got the welcome deal. exclusive offer, so 89% off. And also people are saying good things about this item, so looks good. This is nice. I like this. This looks really good. Oh, there are many others actually. Okay, I see. Well, it's all the same, right? I think it's all the same, so I'm just gonna go with that first one. What about this one? Yeah, it's almost the same, isn't it? I'm also gonna put this one in my cart just to have like another option when I actually click on purchase. Alright, so we've got calligraphy, practice sheets, favorited. So now let's look for HSK related study items. For example, these vocabulary books, I've seen them a lot, so I just want to try them for myself. So this is for HSK 6, so I'm not yet at that level. What I would be looking for is more like HSK 4 level, HSK 3 or 4 in fact. So this is 4, let's see. So this one I'm gonna favorite. And then what about just HSK 3 1? Ah, there you go. Ah, okay, it's from 1 to 3. Okay. Do I really need a vocab book from HSK 1 level? I'm gonna put it in my wish list, but I don't think I need. I'll probably just go for level 4 right away. And then I also want to purchase the standard course for HSK 4. So I'm gonna favorite those, but I'm not sure I'm gonna purchase them right now because I'm not at HSK 4 level yet. Well, I think that's pretty much it for these first 3 categories, because other than that, I mean, there are novels and stuff, but first of all, I've got one novel that is coming that I've ordered on Amazon US. You know, it's gonna ship in January, and that novel is gonna take me a long time to read anyway, so I won't purchase new novels in Chinese just now. Just so you know, there are novels in Chinese on the AliExpress shop. So let's just go straight to the last category of this video, which is going to be stationery. So if we type stationery, let's see what we've got. What about this? Yeah, those are like quite old looking stickers. It's not my style. 3D cartoon. Let me just see first what they've got, like in general. Ah, you see this kind of thing I always use. Yeah, you see, it's the kind of thing that is actually for scrapbooking, but I don't really care because I use it in my language learning notebooks and my journals and stuff, so I'm always using this kind of stuff. But they're sold separately, so it's gonna end up being quite expensive, so I'm gonna refrain from buying this pack specifically. However, this one, for example, looks really good. Those are really pretty. So let me see. Yeah, for example, this one, really cute. Yeah, so I'm gonna favorite this one. I'll see whether I purchase this later. You know, these stickers I use to decorate my pages and to just make my language learning more fun, I guess. I've always done that. It's just a habit. So it doesn't serve any purpose other than just me having fun to keep me engaged. Yeah, other than that, you have this kind of thing too, which you can probably find in Japan as well, but it will be much more expensive. So same, I'll just like favorite those. What about this? Vintage pieces. Yeah, definitely the kind of thing I like too. Okay, so I'll also favorite this. And oh, look at this. This looks really good. Yeah, those are like little books of stickers, you see? So cute. And you take them one by one. Yeah, exactly the kind of thing I like. Oh, coffee. Yes. Give me some. Ah, no. Those are those individual stickers? Oh, yes, they are. Okay. Ah, what about this? Vintage coffee. Scrapbooking. Ah, yeah, this is good too. Oh, I like this. You know, you can create like background pages for my notebooks, because I've explained that to you guys in the past, but basically the way I use my notebooks is that I take entirely blank notebooks and I create the sections in my notebooks myself. And this kind of sticker sheet, it can definitely be useful for me to create the categories in my notebooks, to create the cover page for each section inside of the notebook. I love this. Perfect. So this one is also favorited. Let's see if we can find anything else for today. I'm gonna quickly be looking at notebooks as well. I think I'm gonna have to spend a bit more time on the app off camera just to see whether I can find like interesting ones. What about this? Because what I'm seeing now is not that interesting. While I'm saying this, I've just found something that I might actually take. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I'm interested in. Let's see if they've got inside pictures. Yeah. You see? The pages are decorated. This is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna go through the app like by myself just to see whether I can find anything else that's of interest, and then I'll just purchase the items that I want the most, and then I'll talk to you guys when they arrive, and we'll see in which condition they arrive and you know what they look like together. So I hope you're excited for that, and for you it's gonna take 1 second, but for me it's probably going to take a few days or even a few weeks. So I'll see you then. Well, it's been a hot minute. I think I ordered like everything about 2 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks, and I believe the last package just arrived and we are already the 10th of January, so it's been a while since I filmed that introduction that you've just seen. Nonetheless, I'm very excited because it is unboxing time, so I have everything in front of me right now. I'm gonna unpack everything and then we'll unbox all of that together, and I'm probably going to categorize things, you know, so that we have some sort of structure to the unboxing because there is a lot to go through. Alright you guys, so everything is out of whatever it came into. Before we start, I'm gonna say something right now because I am appalled at the amount of plastic I just have right now to put in the recycle bin. This is absolutely insane. I mean, mark my words guys, this is the last time I am ordering stationery on AliExpress. I should have remembered that every single package comes individually and is wrapped individually, and because in this order I have actually ordered like a lot of stationery that will last me probably for the next few years, I will definitely not be ordering again any stationery on AliExpress. It's not worth it. We first have this collection of 4 Chinese stories. I wouldn't be able to tell you right now what each story is about, but I know that this is Journey to the West. This one is the Three Kingdoms story, and then those 2 here, I don't know what they are exactly, and I think they're gonna make for really great reading materials. They've got the pinyin on the characters just like I wanted. They've got loads of pictures, illustrations. I mean, even like the titles on the pages look super great, and it's just like so much more comfortable for me at my stage right now to read in Chinese using this kind of material. So I cannot wait to start reading these. I'm probably going to use some of them to read with my tutor actually. It took me a few days before I could test those books, and to start with, I chose one of the stories I didn't know about. I chose the one called A Dream of Red Mansions or Dream of the Red Chamber, which is apparently one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature that has been written in the 18th century. The experience reading the first page of the story was overall great. Like I suspected, I enjoyed being able to read in Chinese on paper instead of digitally, which I do usually, and in particular since the kind of paper these books are printed on is just like regular paper, not glossy at all. They make for great study books since you can easily write in them, highlight some parts, and put post-its on the pages. So overall, I would rate this collection of books a 4.5 stars out of 5, just because those are quite difficult stories and not particularly useful as language learning material. Next up, we've got this collection of 10 books. I don't even know whether I can call them books. Probably like together they make one book, but they are each separate stories. And those stories are about the traditional celebrations of China. What are the original stories behind each of the festivals that are celebrated in China? Lunar New Year, for example. And I'm really excited to go through them actually, to know more about Chinese culture, to also be able to discuss these with my tutor because she's actually very knowledgeable in this tradition, but she's told me about them in Japanese and in English, so I can't wait to read those to then be able to discuss all of these with her, but in Chinese this time. So next time I discuss these with her, I hope that they will be in Chinese thanks to me reading all of them. For background, I tested reading from this collection after having tested the first collection I bought, so in comparison these ones looked much easier. And it was very nice to actually be able to understand what I was reading instead of only guessing at it. Overall, I really enjoyed the experience of reading that first book in the collection of 10. It was about the story behind the Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival, namely the story of Chang'e and Houyi. And even though the pages were a lot glossier than the ones of the first collection, it didn't prevent highlighting, so as you can see I was able to highlight all of the words I looked up while reading on my Pleco dictionary app. And as I'm expecting the other books in the series to be just as good as this first one, this is a high 5 out of 5 star rating for me. And now let's move on to the next item. And then I got this book of practice sheets. It's quite big and it has a total of 7,000 Chinese hanzi, 7,000 characters. And I can tell that this one is a proper book for adults, specifically not for children, because I can see that first of all, the characters are stylized. They are not written in typed form, which is of course much more elaborate, but definitely this is going to be a very useful material again for me to use. This is the first page and we're going to go over the first page together. This is the pen that I'm going to use. It's my Lamy fountain pen, my trusty Lamy in white color, and in it I've got black ink, so I think it's gonna be absolutely perfect for practicing my hanzi characters with. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started and let's test out this practice sheet together, guys.
Morning, I'm so excited because we are making Dwayne Johnson's infamous Coke.
Alright guys, review time. I actually had a blast doing this full first page of character writing practice. It's taken me, about 10 minutes. I was actually doing it like, you know, tracing the lines very carefully, almost. Apart from some characters that I am so used to writing that I just couldn't help myself writing them pretty fast. It was actually pretty enjoyable. I must say that, you know, it was very satisfying to have the characters written underneath and not like the usual kind of writing practice that I do, which is to have the character like on the side and then to trace my own character next to it, if that makes sense. So having it underneath does help with the tracing. I think this would be perfect for people who are still a little bit nervous about balancing their characters properly. Having this kind of practice sheet to really help you understand how the characters are formed and how they must be shaped, and you know, putting them all like onto one line to be able to compare them and compare their sizes and shapes. I think that's actually really useful. You know, I would even go as far as saying that this almost is like a meditation practice. It actually induces a state of meditation. Really start focusing on your tracing, which I think is a good thing. So to wrap up this review, guys, I would actually give it a 4 star out of 5 rating. I really enjoyed the experience. I will definitely keep using this. I definitely need to practice my hanzi characters. I think I'm really gonna have a hard time actually towards the end of this practice sheet. Like, look at those characters at the end. Those are way more intense, so I'm definitely going to have to practice those. Overall, I think it's really nice quality. To be honest with you, it's only losing 1 point because it is so flexible. I would have liked to have something a bit more rigid because I think it would help with the whole writing experience. I'm not sure whether that's intended to be this way. For me, to be honest, I would have preferred to have something rigid so that it doesn't budge underneath when I'm writing. But other than that, it's really nice quality. And now let's review the next item. these 3 practice books. These ones are for first grade, second grade, and third grades of primary school students. And the specificity of these practice books is that they have actually the characters embedded on the pages, so that when you take your pen, which is actually a pen that came with the books, you write the characters correctly. So it's got this little rubber fish to help you with your finger placement and your hand placement when you hold the pen, so that you hold the pen correctly when you write the characters, and then you know exactly how to trace them first of all, and also when and where to apply pressure, which is extremely useful. So I can't wait to start using those. Alright guys, so today is the day we're gonna be testing out this bad boy, this practice sheet for Hanzi characters. And to be honest with you guys, I'm very excited to try this out, because out of all of the items that we've purchased on AliExpress, this is probably the item I am most intrigued by. And so I'm very excited to try this out for myself and see whether those embossed characters actually help me with the tracing of the Hanzi. So without further ado, let me try this and I will report back when I'm done.
Simple, simple, simple minds. I guess we'll take it one by one, baby, one by one. Just different, different, different kinds. We'll try to take it one by one, baby, one by one. Too many.
That was really interesting, you guys, and I've got a lot to say. So let's start with the bad points. Actually, I don't think there are many, but the first point that I can think of is that you see this little rubber fish, which we've seen earlier and which is supposed to help you with the placement of your fingers on your pen to trace better and to learn how to trace properly. Well, it does what it says on the tin. Definitely it helps you trace properly, but it does slide off a little bit downwards like this. So I found myself replacing it twice while I was tracing this first page only. So that's the first issue that I've got. And the second issue I've got was just the fact that the paper of the practice sheet is very glossy, so it slips a little bit under the pen. I think it's really due to the nature of the paper here, which is meant to be reusable. So you really need to be careful tracing your characters. So that's it for the bad points. Honestly, those are the only 2 things that I found a bit problematic, but other than that, it is amazing. And I think I will tell you right now what rating I give this, and it's going to be a 4.5 star rating for this one. So now for the good points. The first thing I want to say is that it does help you with tracing the characters properly, the right way, with the right balance. And because it's embossed inside the page, definitely you are unlikely to trace the characters the wrong way, because the lines are really easy to follow. I really think that this is useful for anyone learning how to trace Hanzi characters. When you are practicing, you know exactly which set of character you're practicing, because it is written right here for which grade those characters are. So for instance, the first 100 characters you have on this page are the first set of 100 characters that are taught to first graders of elementary school in China. This is pretty useful. This is actually written on the page directly, so you don't even need to look it up. And then it has nothing to do with practicing characters, but the little stories in this practice sheet that are actually printed inside the book right here, as you can see, every 2 pages. So I think that's pretty good reading practice material right there. The sheets themselves are really small, which in my opinion is a good point and not a bad one, especially since in one set that you purchase on AliExpress, you will get 3 of these. So definitely they will last you a long time, in my opinion, especially since those are reusable practice sheets. And as you can see, I've just practiced on this first page here in the first book of practice sheets. And as you can see, you can't even tell that I did so, because my lines have been already erased. And so this is the wonderful thing about those practice sheets. They are magic practice sheet because the ink disappears with time, and when I say with time, 5 minutes ago, and it's already almost entirely erased. It erases itself, you don't need to wipe it off. At least I haven't tried. Just for the sake of this video, I will try it myself right now on the last characters that I've traced, just to see whether we can actually do it. And so yeah, 4.5 star rating, and now let's review the next item, guys. Right, so I have got 3 study materials in total. First off, we're gonna start with this cute little HSK4 vocab book. I knew that these were really small, but nonetheless, when I got it, I was still surprised by how small it is. I can't really tell you much right now. I need to start using it and then report on it. Right, so guys, time to test this little boy right here. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know whether I'm gonna be able to tell you much about it because it is what it is. It's just a vocab book, and also I'm not yet at that level because this is HSK 4 level and I'm only around HSK 3, like the beginner stages of HSK 3 level. I will still go through the first like few pages, but to be honest with you, this is the kind of vocab book that you need to use for a long period of time, trying out different study techniques before you can say anything about such a book and before you can review it. So you will have to take anything I tell you about this book with a big grain of salt, because obviously I won't be in a good position to tell you about it before the end of today's video, since I'm only going to use the first few pages. Thank you, Ki-chan. Jump. What? I'm only going to use the first few pages and I won't have time to use the entire book, obviously. Well, you know what, guys, I'd say this is actually pretty good, pretty useful in my opinion. I would give this a 4 star out of 5 rating, and it's only losing 1 point because I think you really need to like rack your brains out to find ways to study this in the most efficient way possible, because it's not that easy to get into it, I'd say. So you really need to like find ways yourself, if that makes sense. It's got absolutely no colors inside, and I do think that it's less engaging than other kinds of materials that you could use to study Chinese. Nonetheless, it has some very good points, and this is the reason why I'm giving it a very high 4 star rating. So let me just show you what I mean. It's actually getting a lot of points here, guys, because it has a few elements for each word or character which I find really useful. It says it in the back right here that it's got the pinyin, the English explanations, the collocations, sample sentences, and extension words. So you can find instances of these on those 2 words here, which I have gone through and highlighted for you guys to show you. So for both words here, you have the pinyin transcription, of course, right below the character, so right below the word. Then in English, you've got the explanation of the type of word it is. So in this case, an adjective, here a verb, and here the translation or translations in English. Then on this side, so you've got a few things here. For the first character here in the first line, these are the collocations, so the expressions in which the word is used. Then you've got some example sentences, and you've got those same 2 elements here for this word, for example. And then for this one, you've got additional things, since you've got the antonym of the word stupid, in this case zongmin, which is intelligent. And then right below this, you have what they call here extension words, which are words in which the character is used different from the original word. So for these elements, I really think that this book is quite useful in my opinion, and that it would serve as a great study material. And also another thing that I find really interesting is that the words are actually categorized alphabetically, as you can see. So it starts with A and then it goes on to B all the way to the end with the Z category right here, and I find this actually quite useful. So there you go, guys, 4 stars out of 5 for this one. Then I've got these books, which are Chinese textbooks, so meant for the 4th grade level Chinese class. And the catch is that I've got 2 of the same actually, because I didn't realize that these were bundles of twice the same textbook. So I will be giving one of these practice books to my tutor, because obviously I don't need 2 of the same textbook. And so I've skimmed through it very quickly, and I can tell you that this is meant to be used in class with teachers, and you know, the students have some poems to read, some texts to read, some extracts from books and other literature works. This looks like a very comprehensive kind of textbook, which I'm sure I will be delighted to use, to be honest with you. It is so colorful, it's got pictures everywhere. I think it will keep me engaged a lot, so I can't wait to start using it. Now, this textbook is actually not designed for Mandarin Chinese language learners. It is in fact designed for native Chinese students, and it is actually a big collection of texts of various sizes and origins, which I believe is to be used in the Chinese language classroom with a teacher present. As far as I could understand, the texts were primarily extracts of literature works from China or elsewhere, poems and songs, and each text had a set of comprehension questions and other types of questions attached to it to serve as a nice learning material for 4th grade children. Now, the issue is that I don't think I'll be able to use this textbook for the time being, because it seems that the level is actually pretty high. But nonetheless, thanks to the great structuring of this book and the wonderful illustrations it contains, I was able to give it a nice 4.5 stars, since I find it particularly engaging and I cannot wait to start using it for my own studies. And then finally, the last resource I've got are these 6 textbooks, once again meant for 1st grade to 6th grade level of primary school, and those are once again meant to be used in Chinese class. So they've got almost the same kind of layout as the first textbook I got. I can see that they've got like a lot of exercises to go through, so it's more like a practice book, so I think it will be really useful. So obviously I think the level is going to go up from, you know, 1st grade to 6th grade. Definitely when I look at the 6th grade one, first of all, it's got absolutely no pinyin on the Hanzi, so I'm definitely going to struggle, whereas the 1st grade one obviously has pinyin on the Hanzi. They're gonna be in my library. I'm gonna go through them one by one until I reach the last one's level. The Shueba Chinese textbook, this was an entire book series for Chinese reading training from the 1st year of elementary school or primary school to the 6th year. Now, I couldn't really test out this textbook for myself since the level was too advanced for me, just like the previous textbook we've just seen. But now that I've looked at the first book in the series, I can tell guys that probably I will reach this level pretty soon, because it wasn't that hard for me to understand. But for the time being, and just like we did for the previous textbook, I took a good look at it to still be able to review it for you guys. And what I can tell you is that past the initial wary feeling I got when I first opened this textbook due to its lack of pictures and colors, especially in comparison with the first textbook we've reviewed, after spending some time actually taking in the contents of this book, I actually got a really good feeling about it. While it seems that this is a series of books specifically designed to help Chinese children get good scores at the reading comprehension section of Chinese language tests, I do believe that such a series could be of great help to Chinese language learners alike, especially when you understand that this series of workbooks is designed to help students, and I quote, learn to read the text correctly, fluently, and emotionally in Mandarin, a skill that I am sure all of us Mandarin Chinese learners are after. Now, jokes aside, the sections I could identify indeed seemed quite useful. We've got children's songs and poems, simple descriptive reading, simple writing and reading, fairy tales and story reading, fable reading, simple reading of ancient poetry, and last but not least, simple science reading. But what really sealed the deal for me were all the different exercises present in the workbook. Like, you've got comprehension questions or Hanzi character recognition and writing tests, which had their own correction section at the end of the book. And what seemed the most interesting part to me were the short essay questions at the end of each little section inside each unit. Short essay questions in the likes of which season do you like best, why do you like it? So it's for all of these reasons that even without having gone through the whole workbook and the entire series, I feel confident to give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, considering its usefulness and the low price for the entire series of books, since I think this kind of workbook will greatly help me improve my Chinese reading skills when the time comes. I just cannot wait to start studying with it. And so with that, you guys, we're able to finally recap all of the items we've reviewed today, along with the ratings that I gave each of them. And now for the very final section of today's video, guys, let me briefly show you in close-up all of the stationery items I got on AliExpress this time. And it's on that note that we're going to end today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me purchase, test and review AliExpress goods for Chinese learning, unsponsored, so you've got my entire truthful opinion about each of these items. Please let me know in the comments below what you would like me to review next. And as for me, I will see you in my next video, guys. それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。バイバイ。またね。 'Cause tonight I'm gonna